James Gunn's Superman flies into theaters as one of the biggest hits of 2025. Anthony, give me your quick thoughts real fast.
My quick thoughts are, I had a lot of fun. It was entertaining. I thought it was a nice, refreshing change of pace for the DCU. Going forward, I'm excited for what they have. I thought the film was really, really, really fun. But I had a couple of issues. Otherwise, I had a really great time in the theater.
I think people need to chill out. We've been getting a lot of hate on social media for liking this movie. I don't understand.
How dare you like a movie, James?
I know, how dare I like...
What's wrong with you, man?
How dare I enjoy a movie? I think Superman was a lot of fun. I had a blast. I saw it back-to-back nights. Obviously, we went to the premiere, then I saw it in IMAX, which was just an awesome viewing experience. And I think that this was a really smart decision given what was going on with the DC, with the DCEU, the DCU, whatever you want to call it now. And I think that James Gunn, Safran getting in there, basically kind of a reset in a way. You're bringing back other actors as new casting, so it's still kind of like that DCEU vibe. We have like Momoa's coming back, a couple other people are coming back in new roles, but I think Superman was a great way to hit the reset, refresh, new tone going forward, and it's one of my favorite James Gunn movies. It's up there with like Guardians 1 for me as I think one of his best works. It's hysterical. The action was great. Pros and cons for sure, which we'll talk about. Massive budget, $250 million, but it had a huge, huge opening weekend. Domestically, it's pulling around 125, 150 at the box office. It had just a $56 million opening day on Friday, which was massive.
That's great.
But we'll get more accurate numbers and see global numbers later this week. I think Corenswet, Holt, and Brosnahan are just absolute standouts. Nicholas Holt is phenomenal as Lex Luther. I love Krypto. He steals every scene he's in. There is surprisingly great emotional stakes in this film. I like how we get going right away. Superman's already been operating. He's in a relationship with Lois.
Oh my God.
No fluff. Let's get right into it. And I love that approach.
Yeah, I think it was so smart. I'm so tired of origin stories. As much as we love Batman Begins and Nolan.
Origins!
He made every studio addicted to origin stories because of how good he did with it. How well he pulled it off. It's just nice to, with the Batman and then with Superman, to not get the origins. We all have seen so many iterations of how these characters came into who they are. There's no need for that. I like how we were thrown into the action. I like how the first thing we see is Superman got his ass beat and he's bleeding, and it showed that he's not as indestructible as he has been in other iterations. Usually it's generally he has to fight someone from Krypton as well, like Zod or Kryptonites involved. And then we see in this film, he got his ass handed to him. There's a reason why Ultraman was able to overpower him so easily, as posing as the Hammer of Barovia, which we'll get into that spoiler in a little bit, which I thought was a nice, fun twist. But I liked how we started this movie right in it. We all know Superman. We're all up to speed already.
We know the origins. Yeah. We know the family. We don't need it all over and over again.
And this was a fun blend of classic with modern. I think they did a great job putting it all together.
I keep seeing an argument, which I think there is something there, of because the DCEU went so dark in those last films, the Snyderverse films were just very intense, very dark, which I really enjoyed those movies still, that is it too much of an overcorrection of making it so light, so camp, great heart, lots of humor? Is it an overcorrection? For me, not so much, because I like the tone. I think it's funny. You know, Superman comes from a comic book, the original superhero comic book, and which has always been very bright and colorful in its origins. So I think James Gunn was going to, the ones I grew up with, when we heard him talking about it at the premiere, he's like, the first Superman comic book I ever opened was Superman with his fantastic friends fighting giant monsters and robots, and I want in a flying dog, and I want to bring that into this movie. And at the end of the day, I think this movie appeals to everybody, which is a great strength to it when it comes to marketing and setting up future films.
Yeah. Not
to mention setting up the whole world of the DCU going forward with metahumans have been here for 300 years. I love that opening line. The opening text cracked me the hell up when it got to the 3 hours, the 3 minutes, the 3 seconds. And I think that's a really interesting way to open your world up. Metahumans exist. They've been here for 300 years. It opens up so many possibilities of characters, the Amazonians, World War II characters from comic books. So I think it's smart, just like, everything's all set. Everything's already going. We're operating. Metahumans exist. Superman crash landed 3 decades ago. You all know the deal. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, and I had fun, and this is setting up a whole world for the DC. Supergirl is going to be coming out in a couple of years. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow next year.
Next year, yeah.
Then there's also the Lanterns TV show and a bunch of other projects that this is basically laying the groundwork for. The Authority is a team of morally gray super beings from the Wildstorm comics that's coming out in production. Paradise Lost, Booster Gold, The Brave and the Bold, the Batman that they have in this universe will be getting into production eventually, but they're, I think, just pumping the brakes while Matt Reeves does his thing. Creature Commandos, which came out last year, and Peacemaker Season 2, these will all be connected to this overall DC arc. And I think Superman was the right choice to start everything. I think they pulled it off really well. And going forward, they're really on strong footing. And there's so many debates about how is this compared to Man of Steel and Snyder versus Gunn. Why is nobody talking about Richard Donner? I mean, nobody talks about Richard Donner in these conversations. It doesn't make any sense. He made the first Superman. Overall, I would say Donner's first Superman is the best overall Superman movie. But I like all three directors, and I like all of their movies. I mean, there's nothing wrong with liking Man of Steel. I really enjoy Man of Steel. I liked what Snyder did with that movie. I didn't like the rest of the DC universe, the Snyderverse. There were good elements. I didn't really enjoy Batman vs. Superman. His Justice League I thought was very good. I would have liked to see him expand on the Superman character he built with Henry Cavill and David S. Goyer. We never got that Superman franchise. So it's pretty crazy if you think about it. There hasn't been a Superman franchise since the original Donner films, which is nuts. That's so long. And I think that it was such a misstep that they learned, Warner Brothers and DC, of not capitalizing on Henry Cavill and giving him his own filmography focused on him. Now we're getting that with Corenswet, and I think Corenswet brings so many great elements to the Superman character and Kal-El. I think all three of those guys are the top three Superman actors. They all do really interesting things. Corenswet really doubled down and brought in that Boy Scout, that pure goodness of heart. Kal-El in Man of Steel, struggling with who he is. Identity was a huge theme in that film. Fitting in and finding his place in this world where he doesn't belong. And that brought a grittiness and a darkness and a depth to the complexity of the character. And in this film, I thought they lightened it up and simplified it to being more about who is Superman, who is Kal-El, and letting his personality of goodness and truth and honor and justice really come full circle right from the get-go. And I also liked he has a bit of a temper in this movie. He's very emotional because he cares so much. And I really like what Corenswet did with his emotions.
Yeah, whether it's the conversation with Lois, with the interview they do when he's surprising her with the 3-month anniversary dinner, or when he gets taken into custody, and also, you know, when everything happens. And I think James Gunn figured out a great way to make Superman the most loved hero on the planet, and then through Lex Luthor destroy him and have him have an identity crisis of why he's there, because he loves humanity. He's, as he argues to Lex Luthor, he's more human than anyone because that's his greatest strength, is his humanity. And I think it was a clever idea to take this message from Bradley Cooper and his mom.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. That was great.
Great cameo as Jor-El. And his parents sending this message. The first half he uses to soothe as he recovers with his Superman robots, the automatons, yeah, in the Fortress of Solitude. It soothes him. Would you like to hear the message from your parents? Never heard the second half, which destroys his world internally, but also court of public opinion. The people around the world don't trust him anymore. And so he loses pretty much everything because of this message that his parents sent and why his parents really sent him there. But by not seeing that, like as his father explains to him in that great emotional moment on the farm, you know, basically it's your actions and how you interpret that message and what you want to do with your life. That's what makes you a person with your own agency and makes you a good person, because you choose to not follow the path of what your father and mother wanted.
Can we talk about how steamy this movie is for a little bit?
Oh, it's good, man.
I loved it, man. And I thought it was so great. Kal-El and Lois have been dating. They've been seeing each other for 3 months. And right from the get-go, right when she gets in their apartment, they're about to get it on. They're getting hot and steamy, and I was like, yes, let's bring this stuff back. I really felt their connection and chemistry. They were really great on camera together. They worked off each other perfectly, and I felt a true bond between the two people, these two characters. It felt very realistic, and I would say it's probably already the strongest pair of a Lois and Kal-El. Amy Adams and Cavill were great together. I thought they had a good amount of chemistry, but they never really had much to do together in their relationship in the Snyder films. There's always just so much going on.
Yeah.
In this film, I like how we get that opening. Kal-El gets beat down. We didn't even see him get beat down, just him, the reaction to it all. And then we had this really great 10-minute dialogue sequence between Brosnahan and Corenswet, and I was like fully in it. It was one of my favorite scenes. Is just this sparring match of her interviewing her interviewing Superman, and out of the entire film, it was, in my opinion, one of the most engaging sequences and scenes. The themes, the ideas, the conflict in that. I think honestly, some of the strongest conflict in the movie was between these two characters, and also, it's an important scene because it showcases a rift between the two of them that Lois Lane and Kal-El will be struggling for the rest of the film. Can they stay together? Can they maintain this relationship? So I thought this fight they had, we get two very different people with very different opinions, but believing in the same things, conflicting with one another and contrasting, and they almost fall apart at the end of it. I thought it was a really great way to open the first act.
Their relationship was one of my favorite parts of the film as well, and one of the reasons I left the theater smiling as soon as the movie ended, just with a big grin on my face, and I loved it. The back and forth is fantastic, but also Lois risking everything to save Superman, saving Clark, because she knows that he would do the same thing for her in a second. And their relationship's really strong, and I think Brosnahan's great as Lois in their movie because she's always challenging Superman, challenging Clark, because he's the most powerful being in existence, but she's able to keep him in check with herself emotionally and intellectually, with her great personality and her imposing questions and her logic. And so she's able to counter Superman, which is why they're such a great fit. And not to mention, what I really liked about Lois in this movie is she's also in awe of Superman and of Clark. I feel like a lot of studios, if they made this, or different, maybe like 5 years ago, if they try to do this, like Lois, I feel like would be putting Superman in his place a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be happening. But in this movie, she doesn't put him in his place, but she stands up for herself.
Yeah.
And challenges him so many different ways.
There's a difference between putting someone in their place and and then challenging them.
Exactly.
Very different things.
But then also, she's just as in awe of Clark as everyone else. Like when he comes back and the giant squid monsters in the background on the skyline at night. Without context, everyone's like, why is Superman just putting his boots on with the giant squid monster behind him? Guys, context matters. And she's like, we're so different. I'm just this kid reporter from this place, and you're Superman. And then when he saves the day at the end of the movie with the help of everyone else, and right before they're going to go kiss, she's just in awe and just so happy to see him and can't believe that they're together, it feels like. And I thought that was so genuine and realistic and authentic, because if you were a human in a relationship with Superman, that must be fucking insane. So it felt so real to me, their relationship, and Lois as a character felt so well acted and so well written. And I loved how they cared for each other so much. And it's, there's a lot of cliches in this movie for sure. Like one person tells the other person they love them, and then there's that strife, and then the other person tells them they love them back at the end of the film. We've seen that 1,000 times. But at the end of the day, it works.
Yeah, I mean, it's classic storytelling.
It works.
And speaking of classic, I think this film had a really terrific blend of new and old, and the design of the film. The Superman suit, his Fortress of Solitude, really alluded to the original Donner films with the white crystal formations for the architecture and geometry of it. If you look at his costume, we get the trunks, and the trunks, I never thought they would work again, but they work. And I think it works because the trunks, they allude to the classic version of Superman, but also we have a very modern-looking logo for the S, and a modern suit with this great chainmail texture to it. They actually use 3D printing for his suit. I think it's an excellent design.
So the crest, it's actually based on Alex Ross's original design from Kingdom Come.
Wow.
But filled with yellow instead of black.
And if you look at the Fortress of Solitude, it has that classic crystalline structure, but also that really cool contemporary looking S. I like this a lot. I don't think this suit would work with the Donner S on the crest. That S just doesn't work for this world.
Not this era, no.
But this one, I think they did a great job with the design of the world. I loved the design of the Fortress of Solitude. They shot this in Norway, using that expansive Arctic environment for the establishing moments of the Fortress of Solitude. For the exteriors, really made it feel like a real place. I really enjoyed those sequences. But the design of the film is spectacular. And then we have this really cool like Art Deco feeling of Metropolis. Metropolis feels very tangible. It feels very different. It doesn't look like New York or Pittsburgh or like Toronto. It feels very different from metropolitan cities that we've seen in so many recent large-scale comic book movies. And so I think they did a great job designing the world of Metropolis, designing the Daily Planet. I really felt like it was a real newsroom, these big sets, giant ceilings, 360 design. It really pays off, and I think it really adds to so much dynamic filmmaking where you can work these huge ensemble actors in really interesting ways with camera work and with the blocking. So building these sets for real makes all the difference in the world, and I think they looked really fabulous on screen.
Before we continue, look over my right shoulder at this terrific Superman poster exclusively given to us by movieposters.com. Our great friends. Use our code Raiders10 at checkout today at movieposters.com to get 10% off your order, as well as our affiliate link at movieposters.com, which will be in the episode description of this podcast, as well as the link in our Instagram bios. Go there, get your posters. Our code will help you out get some discounts. Besides that, let's continue this episode. I like the approach to the powers of Superman because I think we got to see him operating at a strength level like we've never seen before, at just an absurd strength level. Mm-hmm. But I do also like how he got beat down so much, and I keep seeing a criticism of that. But it's like we've seen again and again, the impenetrable man. This guy can't be stopped. He's so strong and powerful. Yes, he is, but it's a new version of Superman. I think from the perspective of Gunn, he's still young, and I think he'll probably get stronger and stronger as he ages. But I loved the approach of how much they used the sun to heal him. And I think that was really effective because it shows the vulnerability of Superman in this iteration of him when he's not with the sun, and why he needs the sun to heal so much, but how quickly he can heal with the sun. So I really like that approach of the healing power being extensively used. I wish we got more of heat vision, but we did get a great sequence with it.
Yeah.
I wish we got a little more of the X-ray vision. We did get one shot of it with the kaiju. But overall, I think they did a good job with showcasing overall really good effectiveness of use of the powers. Also, the wind blowing.
Yeah, that was
I think
great.
Was done really well because that really didn't get used too much lately. But I like how you're sticking to some of the classic strengths. It's like when you're watching a James Bond movie and they go with some of the classic gadgets.
Yeah.
In the newer versions, it's kind of fun to go back. Oh, I haven't seen this on screen in a while. It's fun when they do the blowing thing.
I really liked Nicholas Holt's Lex Luther too.
Oh my God, yes.
Gene Hackman really defined that role in such an eccentric and amazing way, and Nick Holt brought something really cool. And my God, it was so nice to finally see a billionaire villain who wasn't like an eccentric Silicon Valley type for the first time in 10 years. Like Hollywood's been so addicted to that archetype of character, and trust me, there are more of those coming. They're churning those out. So Lex is not like that. Yes, he's a billionaire. Yes, he owns mega corporations, LexCorp, and he's got his hand in so many things, but he doesn't feel like that eccentric, weird billionaire that we get so often now. And I liked how ruthless he was. I liked how cruel he was. Man, when he shot the guy in the head, I was like, damn, they're going for it in this. They actually showed. I was like, they showed that. It was a very wide shot, but they actually showed a guy getting shot in the head in a Superman movie.
Yeah,
I thought that was great. That was honestly, I think, one of the best moments of the film to show real stakes and showcase what Superman has lost. And what Lex Luthor's willing to take away from the world. I really liked he has this incredible rivalry with Superman. He built off of his insecurity towards Superman, where he believes Superman was born with all this incredible strength and magnetism. And Lex has been doing everything he can to bounce off of that to become the opposite side of the same coin, using his wealth and power and influence and intellect. And I really liked how he was kind of like a conductor of an orchestra in this film. He's got a whole tech room set up where they are able to basically control Ultraman's movements through a series of patterns and movements that Lex has memorized. And it gives Lex Luthor the ability to fight Superman for the first time ever, which I thought was a really cool, interesting thing to do with the character. Like, Lex has never been able to fight Superman. He's always used other people or come up with schemes to fight Superman. Yes, Kevin Spacey beats him down in Superman Returns, but like
not on an equal playing field.
Yeah, exactly. It was like it just didn't. It was just like he's weak as fuck and just kicking him. This was like Lex actually fighting Superman full strength, which I thought was so fun and unexpected, and a really fun, refreshing way to do something new with the character.
I really enjoyed how he's basically has this sort of gaming setup. Like you said, he has all these moves set up, and he's got a bunch of gamers.
It's a Superman
1A! 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 And Nick Holt, man, delivers a powerhouse performance. And obviously, if you've been following this guy's career, if you saw Nosferatu, you know he's so supremely talented. He auditioned for Superman. He was one of the main three doing the rounds to try to figure out if it was going to work with him, with the other Loises.
Do you know who the other Superman was?
I can't remember his name. Paul something. He was in I can't remember, but he didn't make it, but he was in the mix. So there's one other guy who was in the mix for Superman, Clark Kent. Nick Holt auditioned for it. He almost got it. And we've been seeing all the interviews of, he met Corenswet after he did his audition, and Corenswet was sitting in the sun and just looked like a really great guy, and stood up and they introduced themselves. He's like, oh, he's a bit taller than me. Oh, his hands are a little bigger. Oh, he's got a deeper voice. He's just basking in the sun like Superman, getting energy to fuel up for his audition. And he thought to himself, if this guy became Superman, I'd be really happy. And obviously, Corenswet, I think, was a better fit aesthetically, and I think maybe tonally with the acting, because Nick's got so much range that I think he works better as a villain for that part. And then I remember seeing another interview with James Gunn saying that he was watching Nick Holt as Superman on the feed when they're doing auditions, and he kept putting his finger over Nick Holt's forehead to be like, actually, he might be a good Lex Luthor if we cut his hair and shave his head. So I think Nick Holt's just fantastic, and it's a bummer he didn't get Superman. It's a bummer he didn't get the Batman. He's been number 2 for so many big movies.
I don't think it's a bummer. I think, he's Lex Luthor.
No, I know. But still, if I was an actor, I'd be like, fuck, I didn't get Batman. Like, Batman or Superman. I get it. But he's missing out on big roles.
It's not, he got Lex Luthor. It's a big role.
It is a big role.
James is always like feeling so sorry for Nick Holt. He's a multi-millionaire, world-famous actor, and he's only like 36. He's doing great,
no, he's
man.
Like 39.
He's fucking killing it.
Anyways, he's amazing this movie. He does such a great American accent in general, but he brings so much internal rage and emotionality and this repressed manic personality that he lets out every once in a while, and it's so fun to watch. And just anytime Lex is on screen, especially with the badass theme that they had for him with John Murphy, and then who's the other composer? David Fleming, who composed the score together. Lex's theme was so hardcore and so badass, but I can't wait to see more of Lex Luthor. I hope we get him ASAP. I loved him, especially in the third act of this movie. Desperation, willing to risk the safety of millions, if not billions of people just to prove a point against everyone else and try to defeat Superman. He'll do anything to crush him because he operates out of envy, which he says, I'm well aware of my envy for you. It operates and consumes every second of my life. That's basically what turned him into who he is. And I think he's just so phenomenal in this role.
There's something I was very worried about during the initial days of production of this film and press releases and behind-the-scenes photos, and that's the large cast. We've always been saying we want solo movies back.
Do you mean other characters, other superheroes?
Yeah, we've always been saying we want more solo movie franchises like the Batman. And this movie has a large cast of other super characters. We have Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, and Supergirl has a great cameo. I love the Supergirl cameo. I think Millie Alcock's doing something interesting. I like the punk rock
party girl
vibe of her. It's such a contrast from Kal-El, so I think it could work really well. And I was worried about all these other characters being in the film. It does work though. It didn't feel over bloated. They don't have that much screen time. When they are on screen, they have two main scenes when they're fighting the kaiju, and then when they confront Superman, and then at the Hall of Justice when Lois Lane confronts them. So 3 scenes, all of them together, and it's not that much screen time. So I was really satisfied that it was still a Superman movie. And then Mr. Terrific gets more in on the action, helping out Lois Lane investigate Superman's disappearance and imprisonment. And I thought Mr. Terrific was my favorite new character in the superhero world. I thought he was great. Eddie Gathegi.
Wow.
Eddie Gathegi. I'm good.
Eddie Gathegi.
I'm canceled. Bye, guys.
It's pretty easy, man.
Bye, guys.
Eddie Gathegi.
Bye, guys. I put a lot of pressure on me to say it correctly.
I can see your eyes. You're like,
why
here comes the name I can't say.
Yeah. He was great. I thought honestly, I think Mr. Terrific was possibly my favorite character in the film.
Up there for sure.
I have to see the film again. I've only seen it once, but I really enjoyed his performance. I really like the character. And you know what? I didn't feel like it was over bloated. I did have a couple of issues with the film, but over bloating wasn't the issue. It was more pacing, which I can get into in a little bit. But overall, I really enjoyed the other cast of characters. What did you think about them?
I didn't know who Mr. Terrific was. I didn't know who Hawkgirl was. I knew who Guy Gardner was and the Green Lanterns were, but these other characters...
Metamorpho?
I never heard of these people. But man, Mr. Terrific, so effing funny. Great powers. From my short research, I learned that he's obviously a famous genius, 14 PhDs, mastery of various fields, including physics and engineering, uses advanced technology, including his T-spheres, or as Lois calls them, your circles, multi-floating functional devices for combat analysis and hacking. And I think he was so badass. I love the character design. I like how we never saw him without his mask or his makeup, too. I'm assuming that's comic book accurate, too, that he always has the T on his face. Goddamn, Mr. Terrific.
The T. I didn't realize that it was a T.
Oh,
that makes a lot more sense. I thought it was just like a cool design, that makes a lot of sense. That it's a T on his face.
Yeah, it's a T, Anthony.
It's a T. Hey, you saw it twice, man.
I knew it was a T before I even saw the movie.
I didn't. Well, I thought it was just a cool mask.
Anyways, the T on his face is for Mr. Terrific. I love the powers, the technology, as well as one of I think the best shots of the movie when it comes to action sequences was the beach with Luther's little campsite where him and Lois go to track Clark's. I know you keep calling him Kal-El, but I think we should not call him Kal-El because he doesn't refer to himself as Kal-El, and it seems like he's going to be stripping himself of his Kryptonian past.
You're right.
So
stop.
Yeah, so you keep calling him Kal-El.
I'm sorry,
They don't call him like only
I'll
his
do
parents.
better. I'll do
I'm just
better.
saying. I think he's going to probably strip that name away from himself. But they're following Clark, obviously, in his path with the micro computers, the nanobots he puts in all of his friends' bloodstreams. And the sequence where everyone else, his Luther soldiers start to attack them, and he creates the sphere around Lois and just goes to town on everyone with the music playing inside the bubble. Lois is in a bubble, just watching helplessly, terrified as Mr. Terrific, even though he's clearly a mortal man, probably has some enhanced strength here and there because he does pop a couple of people in the face with some good haymakers, but using his tech in really different, interesting ways to shock, to stabilize, and attack his foes, which was really cool. So that was one of my favorite sequences, the 360 camera movement going around while Mr. Terrific's destroying everyone on the beach.
You got like a string hanging off your hair on your right side.
A string?
Or something.
Is it a strand of hair?
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. That was dangling.
Oh, it's a gray hair.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It was dangling onto your shoulder. It was so low. Okay, you got it.
Thanks.
Yeah, Mr. Terrific was great. He's awesome. He's a super cool guy.
Everything he said was hysterical, honestly.
Yeah. And Krypto, I think was a really great element to the film.
Scene stealer.
And he was so cute. I like the conflict he creates because he does not listen. And he's also just like, this is a great movie for anyone with pets, because pets, they get in the way. They can be trouble to deal with. They can be mischievous. They can be a pain in your butt sometimes. But at the end of the day, you love them very much. And as annoying as Krypto is, and as much trouble as he causes for Clark, once he's taken, Clark's like, I'm gonna fucking tear this world apart to get him back. I loved it. It was like, that's what you do for your pet. You do anything to get them back.
Well, that's how good of a person Clark is. You know, Clark will do anything just to make sure this dog, that's not a person. And Lois is like, it's just a dog. He's like, yeah, but he's scared and he's alone.
Poor guy.
Clark's so good. He wants to save everyone and everything.
Even the kaiju.
Even the squirrel.
Yeah.
He saves a squirrel in this movie, which is great fun, but also just shows how good of a person Clark is. Krypto, I think, was my favorite part of the movie. I loved every time he was on screen. He's so hysterical, so much heart filled in there, as well as, you know, saves the day. He helps him out whenever he needs to. He is a nuisance, but he's so fun. Krypto is usually depicted as a Labrador or a Shepherd in the comics, while this one is an Ozu, a scruffy little smaller dog breed based off James Gunn's own dog in real life. Ozu, I mean, Ozu is James Gunn's dog. So they actually digitally scanned. No, it's Ozu.
Ozu? Oh.
They actually digitally scanned James Gunn's dog Ozu. There's a fly flying around.
You almost got him. Yeah.
To really make Krypto resemble him so much. And I thought the visual effects on Krypto was the best part of the movie when it comes to CGI. And I have a friend who, when we were going to the premiere, they DM me, oh, is the dog going to be there? Is the dog Krypto going to be there? And I had to tell them, Krypto's not real. Krypto is CGI. But that's how good it was. It fools people into thinking that the dog was real. But you can't train a dog to act like this. You know, you really can't. Hey, go bite Clark, do a circle, and then be annoying. Like you have to do CGI.
Yeah.
But I like how James Gunn was like, we've never seen this on the big screen before. And I think it would add so much. And I love Krypto. I think it's great for kids. It's great for everyone, honestly, of all ages. And my favorite part of the movie, honestly.
They did have a dog on set for a couple of scenes where it didn't require too much blocking, and it was the same kind of breed. I loved when Krypto went on Lois's lap when she was trying to fly the ship.
Yeah.
And it was like, because that's what cats do, that's what dogs do. And for that scene, they actually did use a real dog on her lap.
I was thinking about that the second time I saw him. Like, I feel like
her movements were so authentic, and it was like, because they did use that real dog breed was on her lap the whole scene. And then they obviously CGI digitally composited Krypto onto the screen instead of the real dog. But it looked great. Krypto was a lot of fun. I want to talk about. I do have some issues with this movie.
Let's get into the issues, man. Come on, let's hear about.
This movie is a lot of fun, but I did have some issues that, you know, I think could have made the film astounding if they were ironed out. I think this movie is a blast, but it moves really fast. This movie, and I like how we start fast, but but after the Lois Clark debate, which is a great, long, drawn out, patient scene, once that's over, this movie is breakneck pace. And there were moments that I wish had been drawn out a little longer. And I feel like we lost potential for suspense building, for reveals or for crazy conflict happening or whatever. For me, I felt like scenes were cut really quickly and transitions were pretty quick. For me, the movie just ran when sometimes it needed to really take a breath. And I felt like sometimes I couldn't really take a breath with this movie. And in some ways, it took away from the power of some of the scenes that could have been a little bit more drawn out.
Do you have any examples off the top of your head of scenes you wish had more?
Yeah, I think a couple of fights or the reveal of the Fortress of Solitude, things like that. They happen so fast. I think the finale, we could have had a little bit more stakes building. There was great suspense, but I think that this movie moved really, really quickly.
I think a scene or sequences that could have been really interesting is Lex Luther on his own, or Lex Luther with just one other person here and there. You know, he's usually accompanied by his staff, his minions. Eve's around a lot, or the engineer and a couple other people. So he's always around at least 2 or 3 people. I think the scene that he has the least people around him is when he's in his office with the news anchor or talk show host, and then Superman comes in asking where Krypto is. And aside from that, I think it would have been really interesting to see Lex on his own at some point, by himself, maybe a Homelander-esque kind of moments, stewing, who knows what, anything.
A little more personal touch for the audience.
Yeah, because he's always in go mode in terms of attacking Superman, being manipulative, trying to figure out a few steps ahead of everything.
Like, that's exactly what I'm talking about, something like that.
So, yeah, I think maybe Lex by himself could have been a cool sequence to see.
Yeah. And then, like, for example, like when Superman saves that girl, the little girl from the debris, like that's an example of, I think, another 10 to 15 seconds of building up that moment would have created, like, oh my God, this girl's in danger. Mm-hmm. There are things like that where the action scenes move so fast where it kind of took away the ability for creating that suspense, if that makes sense.
Yeah, maybe those were in there. Maybe they just didn't have time for the special effects.
It's not that long of a movie.
Yeah, maybe they were cutting it up and trimming it. I think it was a good length, but I agree the pacing could have slowed down here and there, especially, once Superman, turns himself in. The movie just is so fast and doesn't let go, really. But I think it's good at this point because I think they want to do something shorter, something a little fast-paced.
Yeah.
Something exciting.
I think this was just a fast edit.
Yeah.
I had two other issues. I like the idea of the news creating this new change in public opinion for Clark, right, for Superman. It's a great way to destroy what the character's belief system is with his parents' recording. I thought it was a great element to the story. I'm just not always a fan of, and it happens here and there in films. It's not the first time we've seen it where a news story comes out or people see something on their phone and they immediately agree with it. And in this film, like the news story hits that of his parents' real message, and then Clark, who just saved everyone's like, "Fuck you, man!" literally within 30 seconds. So I always have an issue. Like M. Night Shyamalan did it with Glass. At the end of Glass, like they revealed, superheroes are real.
Spoiler alert!
Sorry,
stop.
Sorry. But, films have done that, and I things like that. It takes people time to think about things. So I'm not always a fan of the entire public opinion changed on a dime just because they saw something on the news right away.
So I agree, but also can I counter here? Yeah. I think obviously when he takes the guy's phone to watch the clip, I don't think everyone is put off by it. It seems like 50-50 in person at the moment. But what I think James Gunn did with the writing, specifically with Lex, is showing how manipulation of information can affect the masses.
Yeah.
And Lex is doing that so expertly, especially with social media and super shit, #supershit, which we learn was created and curated by Lex and his monkey bots. So I think what James is doing here is showing that you can change the opinion of someone in a day on the drop of a hat with social media, and he's farming hate, he's farming dissent, and I think this is James Gunn showing what the media does and what the press does. And I think it was really accurate because people do, I think, at the end of the day, oftentimes a news story drops and they immediately make a decision. If you think about it, it happens to a lot of people. So I understand.
It happened to James Gunn.
Exactly.
It happened to him in his real life.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the idea. I just think it happens so fast that it's like literally the people he just saved are throwing shit at his face.
Yeah, I agree. What I mean? Yeah.
That's what I mean. Where the movie moves a little too fast, where it's like he just saved your life. Let me throw a can of beer at his head.
I know,
because there's a tweet on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like, it's a great concept. It really works. It's just it flies by. You know what I mean? And then I had one major issue. My last issue with the film is after Lois and Mr. Terrific go into the portal, Mr. Terrific fucked up the beach. I love that scene. He beat the shit out of everybody. But then when they exit the portal hours later, no one's there to stop them.
And while he's trying to hack back in.
Yeah, when he's trying to hack back in. And it's like LexCorp didn't send reinforcements. Nobody else went over there to make sure, like, when they come back out, let's take them out. They exited the portal and the beach was pretty much empty. And I was like...
And Mr. Terrific stayed.
Yeah, and Mr. Terrific stayed. And I was like, wait, there's no one there?
Yeah.
So I was like, it didn't make sense that Lex, who has his own small army, and this is a really big deal for him.
The portals.
The portals are like the central figure to his entire operation working, that there was no one waiting for them when they came out.
Well, and also, I'm with you there for stuff, especially, this portal is the gateway to Superman.
Yeah.
And he gets upset that how did he escape? It's like, well, you should have better security around your super crazy dimensional portal.
Yeah. I mean, they had good security. It's Mr. Terrific. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, like, when they got out, it was a ghost town.
Tanks, yeah.
It was a ghost town. They should have, like, his whole army should have been there.
Yeah.
Been like,
that's a really good point.
Anyone who comes out of that portal, we're going to kill you. It should have been, that's what Lex would have done.
Sure, if they knew there was a breach.
Yeah.
Because he didn't kill them. Mr. Terrific didn't kill anybody.
Yeah. And, like, he didn't even seem to know that there was a breach.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? That for me, that was the biggest plot hole in the film. That when that scene happened, I was like, why is no one there?
I do think that the, what do they call it? The Pocket Universe.
Pocket Universe
was a really cool concept.
Yeah, it was fun.
And it was a really interesting aesthetic and way to hold Superman in his cage, especially using Metamorpho with kryptonite. Very effective. I thought it was really interesting. I also have some cons too, but I want to jump to our intermission first.
Let's do it.
And we'll talk about my cons and some things that I think were a bit weak parts to Superman. But before we continue, the best way to support Raiders of the Lost Podcast is to become a patron today at patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast. You get access to weekly bonus episodes, exclusive early content like our early Superman reaction and review we posted last week, not to mention access to our Discord, as well as, I think our weekly chat, our Letterboxd recap, they're all going to Patreon now, so that's where you get access to those. As little as $10 for an entire year, you can sign up at
$10 for a year.
Patreon.com
10 for a year.
/Raiders of Lost Podcast. Another great way to support the show. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews at Spotify and Apple for us. Those podcast platforms are how we pay the bills, and those ratings and reviews help us get seen by new people, help us chart better on podcast platforms. And I love to read written reviews out from Apple Podcasts. I'll get to one in just a minute so I can immortalize somebody forever on the show. Subscribe on YouTube, of course. Comments, likes, sharing our videos, sharing our content on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. That stuff's so helpful for us. Engagement on social media is how we get access to great experiences and lucky things we get to do, like interviews, when we got to interview the cast of Superman, as well as Mickey 17, whatever it is. That's all because you all engage with our content. So thank you for following us, sharing us, comments, putting us in your story. Sharing your favorite episodes is another great way to share
share one more time. Jesus Christ.
Send people your favorite episodes of the show. Yeah, all right. Anthony's cutting me off.
This episode, of course, is sponsored by our friends at movieposters.com, the #1 place for all of your posters. Look at that beautiful Superman poster behind James. Double-sided, backlit. It really pops like it's a little cinema here at the Raiders of the Lost Podcast studio. They have a gigantic selection of pretty much every movie and TV show imaginable in their poster library, as well as all sorts of sizes, framing, and even backlighting like that one in their arsenal. They have everything from your favorite Hollywood blockbusters like Superman, Fantastic Four, F1, Sinners, to your favorite Hollywood classics, international movies. They got it. Really cool stuff for collectors out there. Original movie posters from back in the day, original movie stills, lobby cards. These are very rare collector's items, and they have a warehouse full of them for all of your poster needs. Use Raiders10 to get 10% off your order, as well as our affiliate link at movieposters.com to give us a little cut of the action and deck your place out with a bunch of posters.
All right, everybody, let's get into our intermission and begin with the movie quote competition. Did you do your intermission this week, Anthony?
I did it.
All right.
It's only once. I forgot once this entire year. James is acting like he has to double check if I did it. One time in 7 months.
Just making sure, man. Just wanted to make sure. All right, here we go. This is between two characters. You could have totally fucked the shit out of that girl. No one wants to fuck me. I look like Voldemort.
Is that Deadpool?
No.
No. I don't know.
50-50.
Oh my God, that's
Seth
a good
Rogen,
one. That's a good
JGL.
one. Yeah, he looked like Voldemort. All right, here's mine. If you shoot this man, you die next. Repeat. If you shoot this man, you die next.
That's a good one. What is that?
Do you want me to say it kind of like him?
Sure.
If you shoot this man, you die next. Repeat. If you shoot this man, you die next.
Didn't help at all. What
Didn't
is
help.
it?
Yeah. It was a terrible.
Sounded exactly the same as
it's
before.
just faster. I said it the same way, but faster.
What is it?
It's Harvey Keitel in Reservoir Dogs. It's Mr. White.
Oh, nice.
The final standoff. Great stuff.
Finger guns over there. Guess this movie release year, Anthony. Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Spy.
2009.
Let me double check. Nope.
Like you were satisfied. You were so satisfied when you saw that I was wrong. You smiled. You smiled.
I was smiling already, man.
2010.
2011.
Okay. When James saw that I was wrong, you fucking grinned.
I was already grinning.
What year did Thelma and Louise come out?
1992.
91.
Oof.
Close.
One off. All right, movie pop quiz time. Anthony, which famous Pulp Fiction scene was filmed backwards? Or shot, I mean.
Shot backwards?
Yeah. What shot from the movie was filmed backwards?
What
reverse?
shot from the movie was filmed in reverse?
Yes.
I'm going to say that's a really good question.
Thanks.
So there's a shot in Pulp Fiction
That they filmed in reverse.
and then
Because they couldn't do it forwards.
Huh. Interesting. I'm going to say, was it the Pop-Tarts?
When they come out of the toaster?
Yeah.
No. That'd be tough to shoot in reverse.
This is a good question. Hold on. I'm trying to think, like, visually.
It's a very famous shot from the movie
Very famous shot.
that they filmed in reverse.
That they filmed in reverse?
Yeah.
Fuck. That's an awesome question. Was it, I don't know.
Mia's overdose scene when Vincent
Oh my god.
plunges the adrenaline shot into her heart. They filmed that in reverse.
Yeah. I knew that.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
We're all disappointed
It's
in
a
you,
great
man.
fun fact. It's a great fact.
Thanks.
James Gunn and Zack Snyder collaborated on what project?
James Gunn and Zack Snyder. A movie?
A movie.
Super?
Incorrect.
James Gunn, Zack Snyder collaborated on a movie. Man of Steel. I have no idea.
James Gunn wrote Dawn of the Dead.
No shit, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, 2004.
Cool.
He was prolific screenwriter before he made his first film.
All right.
He
Yeah.
also, he wrote a ton of stuff.
That's right. I forgot about that. What? Do we have any unsubscribes?
Yes.
I would love to check these out.
You were about to do another trivia question.
Nope.
All right, Landon. Linda Hamilton's casting in Stranger Things was announced like 2 years ago. Unsubscribed.
Was it really?
I think I just forgot. It was so long ago.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Also,
that.
according to Letterboxd, Anthony has seen the first Percy Jackson movie and James has seen the second. Double unsubscribed. I feel like I saw the first one when it came. That was so long ago.
Maybe I did. Yeah.
Tiny Raccoon on our New York Times list. We were talking about the Grizzly Man
Yeah.
documentary. And you were like, what country was it? Was it in Alaska? And Tiny Raccoon said, the same one you live in, America. Unsubscribed.
No, I wasn't referring to Alaska as a country.
I know, this is the way you worded it.
the way I worded
Yeah,
it.
the
But
way you
like,
worded it.
then I was like, oh, it's Alaska.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On our Letterboxd, on the New York Times episode, movie nerd James, what the fuck? No Paddington 2? Nobody disrespects my boy Paddington Bear, and even though you didn't make the list, I still must unsubscribe.
Sorry.
Paddington 2 is great.
It's a great movie.
Ziggy, stop enjoying movies, or I'll unsubscribe.
Seriously, man. Fucking hell, we like Superman, and people came after us.
We have a real hater on YouTube about us liking Superman.
I don't
No,
want
read
to
it.
read that. I don't
All
want to
right.
read that, man. It's
All
just
right.
so negative.
I deleted it.
Yeah.
I deleted it.
Oh, you deleted the thread?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they did.
I did.
Why'd you delete it?
Because it's just super negative.
Yeah, I guess, but
Super negative.
Yeah.
There's no. I don't even want that on. I don't even want
Comments,
that on the page.
man.
No, nothing good comes from that.
Sure, we get more comments, more
just
engagement.
more negativity.
Better
That's
algorithm.
not who we are.
Dude, just let them be.
Let it be.
You're gonna go delete every hate comment we get. You're gonna be at it for hours.
No, not every hate comment. Just that one.
Let it be, man.
You're the one who made 3 comments back.
Exactly. I was.
I know. I
defending
was
us.
just deleted it. It was just like there's no point. You're just gonna keep going.
I was gonna
keep
stop
going
right there.
Next up, Emma. Have y'all ever watched? Y'all have never watched Tangled? Unsubscribed.
I don't think so. No.
I've never seen it. Macy Lynn. It's Dead Men Tell No Tales, not Dead Men Tell No Lies.
Still on
You
this.
lied. Unsubscribed.
You lied. That's funny.
Storm. Sentimental value Swedish. Now you have tooted my horn for real. This is something you do not do to Norwegians. Unsubscribe.
Whoa, Anthony.
I always mix those countries up.
They're different countries.
I always
Anthony.
mix them up.
Someday we'll go to
It's
Norway.
because Skarsgård's in it, so I was like, I thought it was Swedish.
Wow. It's kind of racist, dude.
It's like the same race.
Whoa. Whoa.
Northern European.
Whoa, Anthony. Whoa.
Mustard.
I'm unsubscribing from you.
Get out of here. Don't even try it. Mustard Doctor. Staying alive. Ha, ha. Staying alive. God damn it, guys. Unsubscribed. Looks like we cracked them up with our singing. That's it for unsubscribes today. If you guys want to make us laugh, fact check us, or just say something funny, please unsubscribe. They're super fun. We love reading them. It also keeps us honest.
Yeah.
No, I don't think anyone else fact checks as much as we do because of our unsubscribes.
Or gets fact checked.
Gets fact checked.
No one. Yeah, I can't think of another show that actually responds to being fact checked.
Yeah, and like accepts it and
Admits it.
Yeah, admits it. I don't think anyone else does it like we do.
Yeah. We have a great 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts. Would you like to hear it?
I love hearing those.
It's from Alex Loves the Movie Drive. I love it too. 5 stars. Subject line: put your hands in the air. I've been listening since they had like desks and curtains and windows.
The curtains.
Did we ever have windows? I don't think we ever.
never had a window.
We never had
No,
windows.
yeah,
Let me
yeah.
fact check you there, but we appreciate it. The desks and curtains, yes, were a thing. It's always nice to jump back in when a new movie comes out, or if I'm driving and can find something to listen to. These two are massive dorks, and I've loved when commenting or messaging them. They always seem to at some point react or reply. I was name dropped in an episode some odd months ago about not saying the opening song of 28 Years Later is East Hastings by Godspeed. You, Black Emperor. Once again, you guys did not say the band song title. It is my time to officially unsubscribe.
That's a hard title to remember.
Yeah, I didn't remember that at all.
That's a tough one to remember.
East Hastings by Godspeed, You Black Emperor. Thanks for letting us know.
Thanks,
Alex,
pal.
thank you
Alex.
for the review. And for unsubscribing, I'm going to have to ask you to put the money in the bag. Put your hands in the air.
Fuck this up. Someone did send us a comment say they DM'd us saying like they love us, but every time one of us screams that Gothic thing, they have to mute their.
I try to get off mic.
phone.
I do a pretty good job, I think,
Yeah.
getting off mic. But it is a bit of a jump
I don't know where
in the DB.
It's great though. It's funny.
All right,
I love
Anthony,
it.
what's your streaming recommendation?
Can I remember off the top of my head? No.
Well-
It's Black Bag.
Oh,
Is on Prime.
oh no way.
Probably. I think I gotta see it again. It might be my favorite film of the year so far. Black
Goodness,
Bag.
wow.
It's
High
so-
praise.
Soderbergh.
More than F1?
It. I gotta see it again. I
Wow.
gotta see it again. It's so well directed.
Bold move,
So well
Cotton.
directed. I like to, choose. I like to think for myself.
I never
believe
said
it
you
or
can't.
not.
It's just like,
Believe it or
because
not.
I know you. No, because I know you fucking love F1.
I know. I
That's
love.
why I was like surprised.
I love movies, man.
Me too.
I love F1. I love Sinners. I love Superman.
You know what's a movie I love is Bullet Train. It's on Max right now. Check it out.
Nice.
Really cool movie. A lot of fun. All right, let's get back into Superman, and I'll talk about those cons that I want to chat
What
about.
were your issues with the film? I wonder.
So at times,
Because you came out, you were like, "This is fucking amazing."
I did not come out like that. You came out like that. You're looking in the mirror, man.
I see. Yeah, I'm looking right now.
So,
My hair's long.
Can I get to my cons? Fucking hell, this kid. You talked about your cons. Let me get to mine.
Let's hear it.
So, I do feel sometimes like similar in connection with the pace, how fast it was. It could also sometimes the plot be a bit overstuffed. You know, we have a lot going on. We have Superman, we have Lois, we have the Daily Planet Squad, which was a lot of fun. We have tons of characters, the Justice Gang, a bunch of new characters. Then we have this political subplot, not only with this circle round table of everyone in control, like the cabinet of America and the American government. I like how the president's not in this movie, by the way.
Yeah.
But then we have this political plot with Baravia and Jarhan Pur.
Yeah.
All connected, and just a lot's going on. And when you factor in the fast pace, so many characters, Lex, all of his plans, Baravia, Jarhan Pur, Clark and his involvement there at the opening of the film, connecting it all. I mean, James did a great job connecting everything. You know, it's the Charlie Day meme, like, Pepe Silve. Everything's connected, but still, maybe if we had 10 more minutes of runtime, I think you could have fleshed some things out a little better. But I think it worked overall at the end of the movie, and I thought it was pretty badass, some of the sequences, like when the Baravia president does that interview bashing everyone, bashing Superman, then he walks through the portal with Lex's theme. I thought that was pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
But overall, I think there was just so much going on. And then you're factoring in, you know, Lex's compound, Lex's beach team, which the beach team, I'm like, does no one else see, like, what's going on the beach over here? And then I think because there's so much going on, I was surprised how underdeveloped some characters were, specifically Perry White. I thought Perry was going to be a huge character in this movie. I mean, he's got his own poster. He's all over the trailers, marketing, and I was expecting more from Perry, but I was pleasantly surprised the beefed up role of Jimmy Olsen, because I think Jimmy Olsen is a character I was expecting to be just comedic relief, which Beck Bennett ended up being. But then Jimmy actually had plot-relevant things going on. I think this was a great strength to the movie, where it's not just Lois, it's not just Clark, it's not just Lex, but there are other characters that are helping or involved with the actual plot of the movie and things changing and variables happening. I think Jimmy Olsen, his connection to Eve was hysterical, a lot of fun, but it gave emotional depth to characters like Eve, like Jimmy, giving them something to actually do besides just saying one-liners. So I think Jimmy was a great character, but also Eve, I think, lacked a little bit of the depth, but she did have so much to do in terms of helping make Lex vulnerable.
Yeah, I agree. I like Jimmy's role. I was expecting Perry to have a more sizable role. It seems like there was a lot of Daily Planet left on the cutting room floor.
Yeah. Based off interviews, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like they probably had a lot more screen time that they cut down a ton. Because at the end of the day, the Daily Planet's there, the crew's there, but it's Jimmy Olsen is really the main player outside of Lois from the Daily Planet.
And Clark.
And Clark. Shit. Yeah.
I'm like, don't forget about Clark.
I mean, outside of the big three, it's Jimmy. And I like Jimmy. I thought it was really good comic relief. Him and Eve, and her obsession with him. And then her brilliant way of turning selfies into evidence. I thought that was really fun. But I totally agree. It is a complicated plot that you have to think about while the movie's playing, to the point where even at the end of the film, Lex Luthor literally says it to the audience, I did all of this just to give myself justification to kill you so the world could get behind me. Like, you shouldn't have to have your character spell out what they just did. They just did it. Like, your character carried out a plan for an hour and a half. You shouldn't then have to explain it, but they had to, because I felt myself to just being like, while the movie's playing, I'm like connecting everything myself.
Yeah, I agree.
It was a little overly convoluted and complex in terms of an overall plot.
And the Justice Gang, obviously, Mr. Terrific has so much screen time. He is awesome in this movie. I like Nathan Fillion so much as Guy Gardner. He had a pretty solid amount of screen time. Isabella Merced's great as Hawk Girl. I feel like she could have had a little more character development, things to do. Her and Guy Gardner were kind of, you know, the background for Mr. Terrific to step forward, which worked fine. And then Anthony Carrigan as Metamorpho, I think, was a really great role, really interesting character, very integral to the entrapment of Superman inside of Lex's pocket universe. But then I would say when it comes to the third act, a lot of big superhero movies just tend to destroy the planet as your big plot point by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Which I get,
Skybeam.
You have superpowered beings, like what are you going to do? You kind of have to make the possibility of the world ending as a main plot point.
Yeah.
I don't love like the interdimensional splitting of the Earth, of the planets, and the potential extinction of this entire universe as a big plot point, because I think it was already big enough.
Yeah.
And yes, Lex needed a distraction. It looked really cool. It connects to the pocket universe idea and the different portals, the dimensionality of it. But I think it was just too big of a scope, maybe, of a thing that I think we didn't need for this movie.
At least for the first film, maybe?
Yeah, because I think what ended up with the twist of Ultraman ended up being a clone of Clark, which I thought was great, but I kind of predicted as I'm watching the movie, based off the powers of Ultraman. I felt like who else could be as powerful as Superman as well as have heat vision? So like I predicted it was going to be his clone, which I was happy about because I thought that was a great twist.
I didn't predict it, so I was surprised to see it.
When he took the mask off, I'm like, fuck yeah, this is great. I thought it was really great.
Yeah.
And I love the fight between Clark and his clone because the clone has everything Clark has when it comes to powers and abilities, but he has the brain power of Lex Luthor who's operating through him and controlling him, which makes him a more powerful being. But you take away the strength of Lex Luthor with Krypto destroying the toys. Krypto, get the toy. And then it just leaves Superman to, now I'm the one with the brains here versus your zombified version of me that you're controlling.
Also, I mean, Superman is defined by his will in his heart, too. And his will to never give up. And you could see that, Ultraman definitely doesn't have those components which make Superman one of a kind, where he's, even when there's no chance, there doesn't seem to be a chance of survival or succeeding, he will still fight to the last breath, and you get that from Superman for sure. I liked their final fight a lot. I thought it was fun. I thought it was like, if you're gonna put someone up against Superman, why not put him up against himself? So I thought it was a really fun, creative twist. I did not see that coming. I was like, I don't know who this dude is, but he reminded me of Black Noir in The Boys.
Yeah, me too.
And so I was like
when Lex had him turn off the lights.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's the Boys joke. That's so good.
Yeah, so I thought it was really fun. And I did really like because when they were imprisoning Superman in the Pocket Universe, I was like, okay, Clark's voluntarily doing this, but how are they really going to hold him? And so I never heard of Metamorpho before. I have no idea who any character in any comic book is outside of the big heavies. And so I thought it was a great idea of like having a character who has the ability to create elements. Really fun. And you could play around with that a lot, both with entrapping Superman with kryptonite, but then creating his own version of an element that's like the sun to give Superman his energy back and heal him up. So I really liked Metamorpho. I thought he was really well utilized, and looking forward to seeing him in more action in the future. It's also very weird in camp. Like, you got the great body horror when he was like a squid guy, and then when he was just like a headless being flying around.
Yeah, what did Mr. Terrific say? He's like, I got Clark, a flying dog, I got this, and a squiggly squid man. Like,
what? I think that was the best joke of the movie. I think that was the best
a weird
joke.
Baby. It's super funny.
Yeah, weird baby.
But I like the ending. I think it was a great climax. When Krypto helps Clark out, Clark takes out Ultraman, sending him into a black hole, which was crazy.
Yeah, it was good.
I thought that was really fun. But then stopping Lex, Krypto fucking Lex up was hysterical.
Yeah.
So funny and shocking. I didn't expect that to happen. But just that look that Nick Holt gives Superman as he's looking at him, like a couple tears dropping, rage, hate. I love that look because for me it just shows that Lex, even though now everything has been flipped, he's now the traitor. Everything's been revealed that he did all of this to get land to become a king of his own country and to be very profitable and to also kill Superman. Has he lost everything, or will he come back stronger than ever to come after and just never give up trying to kill Superman? And that look just shows me like I need more Lex Luthor ASAP.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
He'll be back.
And I saw an interview with Nick talking about if he could team up with another character in the future. He said like there's a comic book I stumbled across where Lex Luthor teams up with the Joker, and how cool would that be?
That'd be fun.
How cool would that be to see live action? That would be a lot of fun. And I love the finale, and I love the end where Lois and Clark go into that building and have that really terrific kiss, which they did so well practically zooming them like 80 feet in the air on wires on a rig practically. It was so cool. It was a beautiful and magical kiss, I think, and it worked so well. I was looking forward to it because the trailers showed it so well, but it was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
I like having romance every once in a while.
God damn it, me too.
It doesn't have to be in every movie, but I think we were at a time where like movie filmmakers and studios were avoiding it.
Yeah, 100%.
But I like having a little romance. There's nothing wrong with it. People love each other. It happens in the real world.
On the face.
People kiss their lips touch. At the end of the day, though, I think that the release of this film does showcase, in my opinion, we're having an issue in our culture of being able to talk about and enjoy movies. This movie comes out and everybody, it's like, I feel there's just this endless competition of this versus Snyder versus Superman, and it's just like, we need to stop acting like these are sports teams, and like we need to stop pitting movies against each other. I like both movies a lot, and for some reason, people aren't satisfied with that. And there's so much rhetoric online of, fuck Snyderverse, fuck Man of Steel, Gunn finally did it, or whatever, or fuck Gunn, this movie's too silly, it's ridiculous, it's over the top. It's just like, we need to just, as a culture, get back to just enjoying movies, and they're not only defined by a number, they're not only defined by good or bad. I like so much of Man of Steel, and I like so much of this movie, and I like so much of the Richard Donner film, and I don't care. Like, for me, it's not important which one's the best. It's just they're all fun, different iterations, and 3 different artists made 3 very cool adaptations of one of the most famous source materials of the 20th century. And I like seeing different adaptations. I like seeing how different people play around with the characters and the world building and also the filmmaking styles. I like a lot of the gritty realism and minimalism of the Snyder film, Man of Steel. And then I really like the colorful, extravagant excess of this film. I think that, both films are great. Both films work in their own special ways. And I just wish that we can get to this point where maybe one day we stop pitting movies against each other.
Yeah, I don't want to just go, is this better than Man of Steel? Is Man of Steel better? Because I got asked that maybe 24 times after I saw the movie, and I didn't answer any of them. I don't want to answer that. I don't want to leave a movie and immediately, okay, is it better than this? Or also think, okay, all right, what's the sequel going to be like? I just want to enjoy the film.
Yeah.
They're so different. And this movie's being, for some reason, overly politicized.
Yeah.
Which, it's not really in there. It's not really a political movie. There are political undertones, but there always has been.
There's politics in Man of Steel.
100%. Yeah. And then we're getting attacked because we like it, and so one side's coming after us. It's like, guys, you haven't even seen the movie yet.
Yeah.
You don't know what it's like.
We were getting attacked before it came out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and I think the press does such a great job, stirring division,
stirring fight and conflict, just with these ridiculous
press people
questions.
Haven't even seen the movie yet, asking these questions on carpets. Then they get turned into headlines, and then people get upset and like, oh, I'm not going to see this movie. I'm going to boycott this movie because of this. It's like, you haven't even seen the movie. The press hasn't even seen the movie yet. And so, guys, it's just a movie. I liked it a lot. I had a really good time. The ending was so hopeful. Superman goes to heal, plays the message from his parents, and it's of little Clark with the Kents, Pa and Ma Kent.
Can we just say Ma and Pa Kent actually look like real old people?
Real human beings, real people.
Yeah, it was great. I thought they were so well
sweet,
cast.
So heartwarming. Their love for Clark was so pure. They didn't care where he came from, who he was. They loved him for who he is, their son. And it was one of the most special parts of the movie for me when he went back. And also, he might have been at the farmhouse for a little too long. He's just eating cereal and shit's happening. I love the ending where he's watching the videos, the home videos of him and his parents. It was so sweet. Gave me such a smile on my face because we end with Lois and Clark kissing. And then the funny sequence of Supergirl's little cameo. Linda comes in, drunk, getting her dog Krypto. Superman's healing, sees his parents. Ends with such a great light moment of that Iggy Pop featured song, "'Cause You're a Punk Rocker." 'Cause you're a punk rocker, yes I am. So light. And I just loved the ending, and I felt so happy. With a big smile on my face. The great credits at the end, which are fantastic, and then the Superman title, which was a great reference to the original Richard Donner Superman movies. The way he did his titles, just different color, really, just that really cool, highly like glowing font. I loved it. It was so nice and so sweet. Even the end credit scene was very funny between Clark and Mr. Terrific.
Yeah.
I can really be a jerk sometimes. It was fun.
Oh,
so
gosh darn
guys,
it.
it's just a fucking movie.
Yeah.
It's not overly political.
It's not.
A couple things here and there, yes. But at the end of the day,
Man of Steel is political as fuck.
it really is.
Yeah, there's a lot of politics in Man of Steel.
I think everyone's just gonna, guys, just get out of the house. Get off your phones.
Guys, literally just turn your phone off for an hour.
If you're coming
Stop.
after us over a movie you haven't seen that hasn't been released yet because we liked it, because of things you're hearing about the movie that you haven't seen,
By people who haven't
guys,
seen it.
you don't know us in real life. You don't know what we're like, really. And you
I mean, so much.
go outside and see the sun like Clark Kent, man.
And once you make the realization that so much of the media is speculation, and speculation is not fact, it's just like speculating.
And clickbait rage.
People are speculating about the movie, and people think that, are listening to the speculation as if it's real and factually accurate when it's not. And it's just like, I mean,
they're the monkey bots from the movie. They're drumming up hate.
Yeah, it's in the movie.
They're creating division and hate online. And
They're the monkeys.
And like a lot of people are just like feeding into it. It's like, guys, watch Superman and you'll see like that's what they're doing to you.
Yeah.
Golly.
It's about a guy who flies around with heat vision, guys.
Come on.
It's just a movie.
Anyways.
Yeah, it was a good time. Again, I had
time.
some issues with the film. I gave this a 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd. Overall, I think it was a knockout. Really great for theaters. I think this is really good summer blockbuster filmmaking. Get audiences into the theaters, rejuvenate the industry. We're in a strong summer right now. We're going to keep chugging along. And, you know, as long as people are excited about movies, I think that's enough for me, you know?
Yeah. Anyways, I love Krypto.
Yeah, Krypto.
I need more. Thanks for tuning into this episode. Of course, always go to patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast to become a patron today for exclusive content and bonus episodes. Don't forget to also leave those 5-star ratings and reviews on Spotify and Apple. Subscribe on YouTube, follow on Instagram, TikTok. Engage with our content, share our videos, do all the things that help us grow, and take care.
See you next time.
This episode was executive produced by our incredible Chosen One patrons, Nicholas Martin and Jacob Kossler. Raiders of the Lost Podcast is a mirror image production. Sound mixing done by Jacob Kossler. Opening music by Chase Jackson.